Hi friends, welcome to my channel, and I'm on my next stage of the Decan walk. So this time we're looking at the Nine of Cups, and this runs from the end of February, so 28th, 29th, maybe the 1st of March, all the way through to the 9th or the 10th of March. And I know this video is sort of coming up a little bit late, but in my defense, the light and the weather has been incompatible, shall we say, with filming. So I'm grabbing this opportunity here to film this one because the forecast for a bit later is not good. So I thought I'd try and do it while I've got a little bit of light. So, hopefully it will be okay. So the crystals I've got here today are this one, which is Kunzite. See if I can find something black to put it against so you can see it. So this is Kunzite, and it's got like a lilac-y pink tinge to it, which you might be picking up on the camera. Not sure. Yeah, there we go. And so yeah, that's for the Nine of Cups. I've got some Moonstone here for the Moon card. So this is quite unusual because it's got different colours than you would think you'd see on a Moonstone, but nevertheless it is a Moonstone. That's quite nice. It's Serpentine for the Wheel of Fortune, which I haven't brought out actually, but you can see it on one of my other videos on the Decan walk when I've illustrated it with the Wheel of Fortune there. Okay, so let's get on to the Nine of Cups. This is commonly known as the wish fulfillment card. This is when everything you could possibly want comes true, and everything you've hoped and dreamed for is there for you, wish fulfilled. On the Thoth deck it's called happiness. On the Rider-Waite Smith we've got some people call John Travolta. Have a look at that. I think once you see John Travolta on this card, you can't not see it. But yeah, that's the Nine of Cups from the Rider-Waite Smith. And the major cards that go alongside are the Moon and the Wheel of Fortune. So we're back with our illusions again on the Moon card. And we've got the Wheel of Fate really on the Wheel of Fortune, up and down. So one thing to note really on this card is the array of cups here and the way that they form like an arc. So this sort of reminds me on the Wheel of Fortune card of the arc, the top arc of the Wheel of Fortune when we're on top of the world, when everything's absolutely going right for us. So I like that sort of correlation there. This is where we're winning, we're on the top. So obviously if it was upside down, we'd be on the bottom of the wheel, not in a great position on our heads. So yeah. And the way that I see the Moon with the Nine of Cups, especially on this card here, is what I'm really talking about, the Rider-Waite Smith image here, is the nod to illusion, as in what's behind the wealth, the success. How did we get here? What's hidden underneath here? And as we know, the Moon is all about illusions, isn't it? What we see on the top isn't necessarily what's underneath. So yeah, there's that sort of aspect of it. I mean, it reminds me really, I moved into a house in a little Devon village, and if you looked at the front of that house, it was amazing, it looked gorgeous, but actually when you stepped inside, it was one room deep. That was it, one room deep. And yet if you looked at the facade, you'd think, there's opulence and wealth here. And apparently this used to be quite common back in the day, where merchants or people, self-made people, when they built their houses, obviously they wanted people to think that they were successful, and so the front of house was splendour, it looked amazing, whereas what was behind, like I said, was only one room deep. It wasn't exactly what you thought it was. You know, and like when we go into reception areas, the reception area of like a hotel or the front room of our homes, that used to be the way we presented ourselves to the world. Wasn't necessarily what it was. It's what we wanted the world to see. But behind that, in the back room, was where we actually lived. And in the back part of a business is where all the work goes on. So if you think about a restaurant, okay, so the restaurant is plush and gorgeous and beautiful. But when you go into the kitchen, the noise and the bustle and actually everything that goes on behind the scenes to make that illusion, if you like, of beauty. And I'm sorry, but the crows outside are really, really noisy. I think because spring's coming, the crows and the seagulls are extra noisy because they're fighting for territory. But please bear with that noise. We're going under these circumstances, and I do want to get this video up before it's, you know, well into the next Decan. So yeah, what I was saying. So yeah, what we are presented with that's encouraging us to see a persona, to see a frontispiece, isn't necessarily what's going on behind the scenes. There's a lot of work, I think is what I'm saying. A lot of work has gone into what we're presented with. So all these beautiful cups here that this merchant, which I presume is showing off and saying, I've done this is my achievements, look at me, I'm so happy. Actually, it took a lot of hard work to get there. So much like everything that goes into running a beautiful hotel. There's a lot of hard work that goes behind the scenes to actually present what you're looking at as beauty. It doesn't just happen. And then if you sort of look at it like in relation to learning the tarot, maybe a tarot reader perhaps have put their wealth of knowledge onto the table for people to come and have a tarot reading. Behind that, all the study that went on behind the scenes to actually give that reading. I think what I'm saying is nothing is always what it seems. I've said that in a really roundabout way, haven't I? Another part of that illusion thing that I was thinking about when I was like studying this card, it was the fact that this guy, yes, looks really happy, and that's what we're presenting to the world, that we're really, really happy. But how many of us put happiness into the future? I read it somewhere that you never know happiness at the time. You only know happiness in retrospect. You know, I was happy then. You don't, when you're actually in the moment of, or in the time of your life when you're happy, you don't really appreciate it. You just take it for granted. It's only in hindsight that you think, yeah, that's when I was really happy. You know, you have to see it in comparison with the rest of what's been happening in your life, I suppose. And how many of us put happiness into the future, you know? I'll be happy when I've achieved this. I'll be happy when I've got enough finances to go on holiday. I'll be happy when I've learned enough to be able to be confident. I'll be happy when I have my place in the sun. You know, it's almost like you've got to put in this hard work before you can allow yourself to be happy. So, you know, in life, maybe we've had to work all of our lives. And that's what behind this curtain here is, all that work that went into saving for our retirement so that we can go and spend some time in the sun, so that we can go and do things that we want to do, you know. In the Thoth card, that really does show happiness. That's just overflowing cups of happiness, feeding into each other. And that this card sort of reminds me of those champagne glass towers, you know, when they pour the champagne in the top glass and it all flows down. But it really is party time, isn't it, this card? It's like, let's have a party, let's all celebrate whatever it is we're going to celebrate, because we're happy we've achieved this and we're going to, you know, have a jolly good time now. The wheel's turned, we're on top, We're feeling good. That's grace. So yeah, I do see that as sort of like almost like a wedding card, or yeah, a party. Let's have a party. So the planets that, or the astrology that's assigned to these cards is Jupiter. So Jupiter is the ruler of the Decan, and also Jupiter is the ruler of Pisces, which is the moon card. It's also Sagittarius, and us Sagittarians like a good time. But Jupiter is the planet of expansion. So yeah, we're expanding ourselves, being open here to the happiness that life can bring for us. And it's also a very stable sign as well. And I think we see this, you know, we've got a stable table. And here we've got stability in these cups. They're very stable, they're not tipping over, and they're supporting each other. So yeah, I like that sort of reference there. With as I said, with Moon, it's the Pisces card, and I spoke about that in the Decan walk I did when I was talking about Saturn and the way that Saturn holds Pisces back. Pisces is a healer, a poet, a painter, an artist, a psychic, compassionate. But here with Jupiter, it can actually encourage escapism, which is one of the sort of the negative aspects of it. If we go too far into fantasy and illusion, then yeah, that escapism, we need to ground really, don't we? So the moon can take us into all sorts of flights of fancy, and also uncertainty, because if we haven't got rules and regulations and we just go off, then that can lead to uncertainty. You know, we don't quite know where we are. So the other thing about the balance aspect of Jupiter is that the 9 is assigned on the tree of life to Yesod, which is on the middle pillar of the tree of life, and so it is balanced between the other two. Let's have a little look, I think, at some other images. Okay, so here I've got the Zillich Tarot by Christine Zillich, if that's the way it's pronounced. I've shown this deck before. It's a beautiful watercolour rendition of the cards. So for our Nine of Cups here, we have the card called Bliss, which shows a couple dancing the tango. So I thought that went really nice with my idea of a party and a celebration. I like that. And in the moon card, it shows a scorpion, I presume. So the sting in the tail, which is what I was thinking about when I was thinking about the way we can go off into fantasy and go too far that way, and it can actually sting us. It's quite a dangerous thing to do, to be so expansive without borders that fantasies and illusions become our reality, and we can't really live well in the real world. And the Wheel of Fortune, I like this one because it's almost like the light and shadow aspect of life, you know, the light, the dark. So I thought that's really a beautiful, beautiful image. Okay, so that's the Zillich Tarot. I've got the tin version, which is very useful to have a tin version, I think. I was looking at this one, which is The Way Home Tarot by Cara Whitner and Autumn Whitehurst, to see a more sort of modern take on the card. And here we have a beautiful scene for the Nine of Cups where we're in a hammock and we're on holiday. And this was sort of echoing for me the arc that I was talking about on the Wheel of Fortune here. So we've got that arc again. And if we turn this card upside down, we actually almost see the moon card, I think, anyway. Or, the light and the dark on the Wheel of Fortune. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting, how sort of the arc is actually in the sun on this card, even though it's a hammock. I love this depiction of the Nine of Cups in the Robin. This is the Robin Hood Tarot. He just looks like so happy. But to me, this also shows the shadow side of this card. So here we've got the, you know, like that champagne tower there, and this guy is saying, I can afford expensive wine, I can afford rich food, rich clothes. But the downside to that is illness, actually, because too much rich food and too much fine wine can result in illness, such as gout. That's quite a common one. It was a lot of the kings suffered with gout because of all the rich food and wine that they were imbibing. What's the word? Imbibing? There is a downside, really, to all this happiness, isn't there? So talking of the downside, I think the Osho Zen Tarot, this is the mini version, sorry, upside down. I think the Osho Zen Tarot shows this really, really well. So if we look at, here we go, if we look at the shadow side of happiness, we see it clearly here on the Nine of Water. So yes, this guy is in the lap of luxury. He's on holiday, the sky is blue, he's shaded from the harsh sun by this beautiful umbrella. He's sipping his pina colada there. He's got his rich clothes, his sunglasses, his favourite slippers and a cushion. And here we've got like a chessboard almost motif. So he's had to use strategy to get where he is. He's worked hard to get where he is by using his mind and all his capabilities to achieve this. And here he is having his day in the sun. However, look at the back. It's all about to be shattered there. That illusion of the moon card is behind him there. But it is impeaching. So, what does that mean? Does that mean that happiness is short-lived? That it can be shattered really, really easily? I mean, if you think how fast the banks went down, and, you know, we've had lots of instances over history where finances have really rapidly faltered, shall we say, from boom to bust very, very quickly. So, you know, grab your day in the sun, because it's probably not going to last. It's, I think, a warning of this card. Don't be lazy, because in laziness you could actually lose everything that you've already gained. You know, you've still got to be on the ball. You can't relax for too long. So that's sort of like a shadow aspect of it. But I found something in the Star Tarot, and this is beautiful. Beautiful rendition of the Nine of Cups and its meanings. This is the Star Tarot. Kathy McClelland? Yeah. So let me just show you these. I think they're amazing. And the guidebook for this is just phenomenal. If I could recommend a deck, this would be the deck. I think it's just one of my all-time top favourites. Anyway, I want to show you a few things from this because I just found it inspirational, shall we say. Okay, so if we go to the cards in our Decan here. Okay, so the Moon, Wheel of Fortune and the Nine of Cups here. So yeah, absolutely gorgeous cards. But what struck me here was the figure here. This figure here is also found in other cards. So actually, this figure here is the Princess of Cups. And there's the Moon. And there's a wheel almost of radiance around that cup. And we also have sort of a moon type nighttime colourway. We have sort of water and dolphins and stars and everything down the bottom, and then we have it echoed up here, so that could be a reflection maybe. But then we've got this glorious cup that she's presenting to us, this figure. So that is the Princess of Cups, and here she is in the Nine of Cups, and also in the Wheel of Fortune down there. Also in the Wheel of Fortune we have a howling wolf, much like the howling wolf in the Moon card. So isn't that amazing? So let's go to the Nine of Cups card itself here. So again, we've got the Fountain of Cups, but we've got different symbols on each of the pillars there. We have 5 lotuses. These lotuses represent the 5 senses. So touch, taste, smell, hearing, sight. That's it, yeah, 5. And we've got the dove at the top here, delivering a heart into the cups. And then we have the Princess of Cups herself, tending them. So this is about giving and receiving, and the message here is the more that you give, the more you receive. So this is a really positive take on the card. And I thought that was absolutely beautiful. Let's see if there's something in the guidebook that I wanted to share. But you get a lot of information in the guidebook. It's absolutely jam-packed. And it's all, you know, really good information. So it gives you the decans as well within each card, which is great. So Moon in Pisces, Mutable Water, and second decan, Love, Soul, Self-Sacrifice. It also has a lunar cycle. So this is a full moon card. And the keyword, your wish card, finding your grail. So the grail being here. And it's about discovering your grail within. Your heart chakra is opening, radiating out unconditional love from the divine, showering boundless love that is streaming magically on everything you create. The key to the Nine of Cups is living and practicing the universal law of giving and receiving. The gift of this card is boundless love and abundance. Isn't that beautiful? And there's like a whole page here as well. There's so much information in this book, which I've read. It's amazing. I love this. I will do, at some point, I think I'm going to do a walkthrough and review of this deck. But give me time because I'm deep into another deck at the moment in study. We can't take too much on, can we? So I wanted to talk a little bit about the images on this deck here, which is the Cosmic Tribe Tarot. Beautiful deck. There's a lot of nudity in this deck though, although not in the cards I'm going to show you. But what I'm going to show you is the fact that in a lot of the cards we have rainbows. So yeah, we've got a rainbow there in the Five of Cups, for instance. We've got rainbows in the Three of Discs. So they do feature quite prominently in this deck. The card for the Nine of Cups also has rainbows. And these rainbows are coming down from above, from the divine, to fill our cup. And what we need for a rainbow is sun and water. That's how a rainbow is formed. So we need that light. We also have water here, which in the Moon card, from the same deck, from the Cosmic Tribe Tarot, is amazing, because what it shows us here is, or highlights actually for me, is that it's a cycle. The moon is never ever the same. The moon is always changing, just like the Wheel of Fortune is always moving. And I really saw the correlation between the two just by looking at this image here. So our moon is, she's a bride, she's a moon bride, and she's welcoming you into your subconscious. But don't get lost there, I think is a message from Pisces. You know, Pisces, you can get absolutely drowned in your own emotions. And to recognise that whatever phase we're in at the moment is a phase, it's changing. We're not staying there. Life is cyclical. We're going round and round and round, and hopefully we're learning as we go. So we rise to the next level and then to the next level. And so we learn and we grow. And it almost looks like this around the moon here is a chakra or a mandala of some sort, which is beautiful card, isn't it? Gorgeous. So the bride of the moon bride, is tempting you in. And you can stay there for a while, it's absolutely fine, but don't get trapped there, I think is the message. Because happiness is something we strive towards, it's something we're always wanting, you know, it's the ultimate goal, isn't it, is happiness. But we must recognise, I think, that it's transitionary. I can't say that word. I can't speak actually. But yeah, we're always in transition, aren't we? We're always moving, because if we don't, if we stop moving, what happens? Atrophy. Okay, so I think that's it for looking at other decks. I think they illustrate quite well the thoughts that I've been having anyway from my look at this Decan from my own point of view. So finally, let's go to the crystals. As always, I've taken the corresponding crystals from the Crystal Magic Tarot and Kerry Ward and Claire Gregory. And these are the ones assigned, as I said at the beginning of the video. So I'll just show you the cards. So Moonstone, Kunzite for the Nine of Cups, and Serpentine for the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. So I'm mainly focusing on the Kunzite because I have spoken about the other two in previous videos. So in the book, let's find it, Nine of Cups. And the crystal assigned with this card, Kunzite. A pale pinky lilac Kunzite is a beautifully positive, soft-loving stone that has the energy of candy floss, daydreams on a hazy summer day. Kunzite helps you realise your full potential and has the magical ability to convince you, on a deep level, that your dreams can come true and you can do anything you put your mind to, and that you deserve every wish you make. When you want to manifest your most heartfelt dream, let this pink crystal clear obstacles from your path and align your heart and mind to make those dreams reality. So it being a lilac-y pink crystal, which actually looks quite white on here, doesn't it, or clear, but yeah, there's a little pink lilac. I would assign this personally to the heart chakra, and so maybe it's about whatever you put your heart and soul into is what is going to make you happy. So that's the way I see it, as opposed to what the guidebook is saying. I think it's all about what you hold true in your heart, what truly makes you happy, is also, if you focus on that, will bring you success. You know, that dream job where you're doing what you love doing, that's everybody's dream, isn't it? Not just a job that can give you the money to go and do the things you want, and then you've got a dull, dreary job just to get you there, or you've got to really slog to get there, isn't in line with your heart. But it's not accessible for all of us, so, you know, it is maybe just a dream, an illusion, that we can have that sort of lifestyle. Some people do, some people don't. That's the way life is, isn't it? Ups and downs. So anyway, although this is a very positive card, I have been really, I suppose, focusing on the more shadowy aspects of the card. And those are my thoughts, really, my conclusions. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed my little journey through this Decan and the way I've been viewing it. It's been informative for me. I hope it's informative for you. And yeah, maybe if this is an area of interest for you, then I'll see you in the next video. I have got a playlist for all of these, so please feel free to go through them and see. I mean, I think I may have developed my understanding of everything as I've been going through. I think when I look back at this next year, which I'd fully intend to do, from a different perspective probably, but yeah, more on that another time. But I can see my journey and how my understanding and a deeper knowledge of the tarot and all its associations has developed. So with that said, yeah, I'm going to take the dog out before the rain really comes down because it is forecast. But we haven't got snow here. Everywhere else in the country seems to have, but down in Cornwall it's very, very rare for us to get snow. So there, yeah, that makes me happy because I'm not a lover of snow. I tend to end up on my back or on my front. But anyway, somewhere on the floor because I just can't stand up in snow and ice. It's not my preferred element, shall we say. I like the sun and I like the spring, and the spring is coming. And anyway, I'm waffling now, so I will see you in the next video, hopefully, and have a great day.